Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Zach Smack Show. I'm your host, ZG, and today we have a very, very special guest. But first, let me introduce my two co-hosts. First, to my left, this is Ross.
Everybody, my name is Ross. I'm excited to be here. First podcast, a little nervous, but we're going to talk some sports, have a good time. I'm ready. Ready, Zach?
Absolutely.
Let's do
Next,
something.
to my far right is Kahari.
I don't need an introduction. Biggest Dolphins fan out there. You already know what it is. We about to win the Super Bowl this year. My name is Kahari. Thanks for having me, Zach.
Of course, thank you. And our special guest, Terrell Hanks Jr., former Miami Dolphin linebacker. Thank you so much for being with us today, bro.
Thanks for having me. Yo.
Absolutely, absolutely, guys. So basically what we're going to do in this podcast, we're going to talk about NFL. We're going to ask Terrell some questions, and we're going to have a good time and chop it up, maybe get into a little controversy, and we'll go from there. So a couple things for Terrell. Terrell is from down here, correct?
Yes, sir.
From down here, from Miami. Went to New Mexico State. Was a very, very good player in New Mexico State. 2-star recruit. Went undrafted, signed with the Miami Dolphins, and been bouncing around from there, trying to get himself into any league that he can, and dominant player. So going to be asking him some questions today and just going over a couple things. First thing that we want to ask you, Terrell, is what's it like being a professional athlete? Like, from your own perspective, like, how hard is it? How difficult is it? What is it like? Tell us.
Oh man, I think first and foremost, being a professional athlete is like, trying to be a the top of any profession. Whether you're a brain surgeon, or whether you want to be the #1 spy agent or Secret Service. But just being a professional athlete is like no different from any other job. But the only thing is that, you can be your worst enemy in it. And like, you just got to work hard, man. You just got to, whatever you do is like being a craftsman. You just got to work hard at your craft and like perfect it. And you got to literally like have undeniable discipline. And nowadays I feel like talent don't matter anymore. It's really about the character of the person.
Wow.
For sure.
It's really interesting because it's funny because when I was talking to you about it a little bit before, it really does feel like that. Like, for example, in baseball, I know it's a completely different profession, but like once you get to that level, you're doing two things, right? Like every position is different in terms of like where you're throwing the ball to, but everyone's hitting and everyone's throwing. Everyone's running.
Yeah.
So it's so much more mental, I think, than people really perceive how it is. I mean, I don't know, but that's
right.
What I feel like.
What I would put it is 90% mental and 10% physical.
Wow.
Literally.
Interesting to know that.
I would assume so. Playing in front of a bunch of fans, having that much heat on you, especially messing up on accident. I couldn't even imagine like the pressure. Like, I can't even like speak in front of crowds. Like, imagine playing and like showing your skill off. That's crazy.
doubt.
I mean, for sure though.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, your business is public. Your mistakes is public. So you just got to really have that blinders on, and no matter what, just keep your head down and just keep working. Just keep working, really.
Terrell, I'm big for nothing. So I'm 200 pounds. I was 225 at one point, about 6 foot. At least that's what's on my driver's license. What got you interested, or what got the spark to play football?
Really, what got me to start playing football was, Sean Taylor, watching Sean Taylor, all the South Florida greats, all the South Florida greats play ball, and just watching them, looking up. And then, growing up, it was just me, my brother, and my mom. So, I just wanted to be able to protect my mom, and, football was that outlet for me. I was pretty much raised by the ball. Like, all my coaches I looked at, and I'm still close to this day, are like father figures. So football pretty much molded me and, made me who the man I am today.
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Did your brothers play football?
Yeah, my older brother, Allen Edwards, he went to University of Pittsburgh. Yeah, he played defensive end out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whole family of football. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Another question for you here. What was the biggest challenge you've had to overcome in your career?
I think the biggest challenge I had to overcome in my career was just was just honestly being a student of the game, like really having to like adapt to my environment to where I'm at. Just coming from Miami and going to New Mexico, the biggest advantage was just buying into whatever culture I was going to. So just simply buying in and just having to adapt to my surrounding or even my play style, depending on different defense I was in, the injuries I was dealt with. I didn't complain. I just had to adapt to my play style and what I can do.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
You said something earlier, and something on the lines of that. You felt like you were raised by the ball. Did you feel like I assume you grew up single mother household?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what you mentioned.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you needed to make it in the league in order to provide for your mom? Like, was that like part of the aspiration of wanting to play football?
Yeah, that was definitely one of the reasons why, because seeing my mom, I wanted her to know that her son will always have her back, to protect her. It's kind of something what Ray Lewis said. You used to always see guys hit on his mom, so that's what I wanted to do, like football. Like I was always doing push-ups, and it got my shoulders broad. And, I was doing push-ups, and I was just like, my mom won't ever have to need a man, I'll be there. And then if I made it in football, I can just, show, not be that household name, you know what I'm saying? Like just have that household name to it is something that I wanted as a kid.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about just like football in general, like Florida football is known for it's elite. Like no matter where you play in the state of Florida, you're playing some elite ball most of the time, right?
That's a fact.
I mean, like who like did you play against? Because I mean, what years were you like a freshman to a senior? What years were those?
I was a freshman in 2012 to 2015.
All right, so you definitely played against some like elite
yeah.
talent. Like who
Let's
who
hear
do you
the
know
best.
give me like a few like players that you just played against that like just made it and just or didn't make it but like made your life as a football player like in a game just so challenged.
Man, I mean, I played against a lot of South Florida talent from Denver Kirkland at Booker T, Treon Harrison, the quarterback out there, Antonio Callaway. It's a couple other players.
A lot of Florida names.
A lot of
Yeah.
dogs.
Yep.
Gators.
Yeah, it's a couple people just in high school or college career.
I mean, high school just thinking about it in Florida because you know how much talent comes out of here, and there's always the debate on which state's the best, and everybody knows deep down.
Oh,
there,
yeah, it's South Florida for sure.
100%.
There's
I
no
played against a
question.
lot of dogs.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
probably knew John Franklin Showtime, right?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Buddha.
A lot of
from
them.
South.
Yeah, a lot of them. Even hearing their names growing up in Little League, I played against a lot of them. Like even Cedric Redwine, Jaquan Johnson. It's a lot of guys. South Florida is deep, and yeah, it was deep with
I
talent.
mean, now you talking about college, New Mexico State. That's the Mountain West Division, right?
Well, we were Sunbelt when I was there.
Oh,
with
okay.
Sunbelt Conference, and I think now they're Conference USA.
Okay, and what kind of talent you playing out there too? I mean, you can only imagine out.
Man, we were playing. It's one of the quarterbacks right now who's an outstanding quarterback now in the league was Jordan Love.
Oh,
That's
wow.
true.
There you
Forgot
go.
about that.
Took
That's
a
a
ring
big
from
name.
him too.
There you go.
Got a ring from Jordan Love in the bowl game.
There you go.
You
That's
said you
sick.
took a ring from him. You beat him in the bowl game.
Beat him in the bowl game.
That's
We came
what's
back.
up.
We was
Which
down
bowl
by
was that?
2.
Which bowl was that?
The Arizona Bowl.
Nice.
Okay.
There you go.
That's big. That's a big name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
I didn't know that.
Barstool one now, right? Is it Barstool, Arizona?
Yeah.
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 They have that. Barstool has that.
I
that
think
bowl?
they took the name title from that one. Yeah, I think that's the one they
I
do.
didn't
Oh.
know that
I'm
either.
almost positive.
See, there you have it.
We're gonna get our bowl game. Zach Smack's gonna have a bowl game one day.
Hey, that's what we need to do, man. That's what we need to do, and we will. So, a couple other things here that I want to go over with you. With you saying all these people you played against, who are you the closest with now? Would you say that's still in the league that you talk to consistently, or anyone that you just keep contact with?
From the top of my head, I gotta think about it. But to keep on top of my head, someone that I talk to now that's still in the league that I played against in college.
Yeah, or college, or just
Or that you played
Former
with even
teammate.
on the Dolphins.
Oh yeah. On the Dolphins, there's a couple
Yeah,
of
on
people
the
I still
Dolphins,
talk
really.
to for sure, like Jerome Baker,
Bake.
Raekwon McMillan. There's a couple other players. I still talk to Andrew Van Ginkel.
Never
I
let him
love that
go,
guy's
man.
last name.
R.I.P.
Should have never let
I
that guy
loved
go,
it.
man.
He's a
R.I.P.
dog, man.
Oh.
Guy signed a nothing contract and balled out and made it to the Pro
He
Bowl.
with Coach Flo, man. Coach Flo know what he doing, man. He
All
with
right,
Coach Flo.
so now that we're on that topic, because that's a big one right there.
How did you like playing for Brian Flores?
I love playing for Flo. He got the best out of me. Me and Flo got some good memories together for sure. He never used to call me my name. He used to call me Merton Hanks.
Martin Hanks.
Merton Hanks.
Where does that come
He's
from?
from the 49ers, the safety. Yeah, one of their big time safeties, Merton Hanks, out of with the San Francisco 49ers. He's a dog. Yeah, he's a dog, and he always asked me when he first met. He was like, "You related to Merton Hanks?" I was like, "Nah."
He thought you looked like him.
Nah,
Probably the way you played.
he just thought if I was related because we had the same last name, and I was like, I don't even know who that is. He's like, you don't even know who that is? He was kind of insulted. I was like, no, it's just safety. Like, do your homework. Tomorrow you come and let me know who Merton Hanks is. And matter of fact, from here on out, you don't deserve to be called Terrell Hanks. You got to make some plays. So I'm gonna call you Merton.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, you got to earn the right for me to call you your name. I was like, damn, all right.
Oh my gosh. Well, there was definitely some controversy with him. I'm sure that, you said you got cut during the pandemic, which was 2020 time. So that was when he was still with us. So can you share a little bit with us about how that really went down, the controversy? Obviously, we all hear about what happened with him and what happened with Tua. And it's obviously league-wide news, and stuff that I'm sure that people want to know. So whatever you can share on that would be great.
I mean, I think what people get confused with Brian Flores, he's a perfectionist. He wants the best out of his players, and he's going to get the best out of you, no matter what, whether you like it or not. And he was coming from the Patriots organization, who embodied that perfectionist, and just winning multiple Super Bowls. And he's coming from Bill Belichick defense and bringing it over to Miami. I think what a lot of guys or a lot of people were uncomfortable with is just that holding you to a standard and keeping you, responsible for, any mistakes or anything that's happening. So I think what Brian Flores and other people got him confused with is that he wasn't taking no mediocre. He wasn't taking mediocrity, or, he wasn't taking nothing less than that. So I believe that that whole situation with him that went down, him and Tua, I think he just wanted to get the best out of Tua. Wow. And, whether his confidence was down or not, I think he was supposed to just relish in it and then accept the challenge. He challenged you a lot. That's what he does.
On that same note, now this is important. Do you feel like the NFL has gotten a little softer? Because, I mean, you had, Bill Parcells. You had all these big-name coaches. Bill Belichick, who never got another opportunity after he left New England. Now he's UNC?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
And now you got Dan Campbell, who embodies that.
Exactly. Dan Campbell, right? Like, hard-ass coaches.
Yep.
But it seems to me is that it's gotten soft, and like everyone cares, like, oh, we don't like him. I'll give you a perfect example, Terrill. Vic Fangio.
Oh, yeah.
Dolphins defensive coordinator. Oh,
gotta...
we don't like him as players. So, right? I mean, that was the word. The players didn't like him.
Javon Holland told him to kick rocks.
Told him to kick rocks, right?
In a subliminal way. He kicked rocks the day that
on Twitter.
Fangio left. He posted on his IG him kicking rocks. So people took that as he was saying, like kick the rocks, don't let the door hit you on the way out type of deal.
100%. So my point in saying that is that, like, why should the players be able to dictate who the coaches are? Like, I feel like it wasn't that way. Like he left and he wins a Super Bowl because he's that talented. But the Dolphins, we gave up the opportunity.
Man, I had no idea. This is all new to me. But Vic Fangio sounds Italian. He sounds definitely like he's an old school type of coach.
Sure.
And I think it would answer your question from earlier. The league has gotten soft. Not only the league, but coaching. You don't want to hurt too much people's feeling. You don't want to hurt their confidence. And a lot of these coaches are from the old school. A lot of these coaches their mentors were old school type of guys. And some of these old school coaching mindsets has to be a military mindset. So you're supposed to be tough. They're supposed to break you down to your will so you can be stronger and, answer to whatever challenges, because life is hard. Football is hard. And you don't want nobody to just, be a kiss ass, excuse my language, but, the game is hard and life is hard. I feel like it's the day we living in now. Everyone gets a trophy and everyone gets a pat on the back. Like, dude, I don't know. You're not supposed to, get along with your coach. He's supposed to respect you.
That's what I thought.
You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to respect you. I don't know what type of relationship they have, but, your coach is always supposed to get after you. A lot of what I see now in the league, a lot of coaches are fans of their players. A lot of people are fans. A lot of people, and that's what I don't like what the game is coming to. A lot of coaches are fans. One thing I like about Brian Flores, he didn't care how much money or how much contracts when he came in there. He walked in that building, he was just like an undrafted player. He respected everybody, and he held everybody to the same standard. He didn't care if you just been a 5-time All-Pro. He didn't care. He's gonna challenge you. He's gonna tell you in a meeting room, take that hoodie off. Yeah, a lot of these coaches now in the league are fans of their players.
You don't think Mike McDaniel's doing the same thing?
Yeah, he ain't doing that. I can tell
no
you that
chance.
right now. He not doing
Yeah, the only
that.
thing he's doing is wearing I wish it was colder shirts and then proceed to lose.
Nah, much respect to him, but
Of course.
he's a different type of guy. Him and Flo got two different styles. Mike Daniels is a genius. His offense, he's wired different. Brian Flores is somebody who literally, like, you need structure in your team. You need guys to get after it. You need everybody to show up when meetings at 3 o'clock. He gonna get everybody to show up at 2:50.
Sounds like what you're saying, Terrill, is that you need balance.
You need balance.
Because we, as Zach mentioned earlier, it was like a drastic change. We went from Coach Flo, who sounds like hard-nosed football, and then now we have the complete opposite, Mike McDaniel, who's a fun guy. And we've had success with Mike. Like,
For sure.
And it looks like the players, especially Tua, like, definitely has gravitated towards him as a player's coach. But if you look at a coach like Dan Campbell, I feel like he excels in both. He's hard-nosed, but it seems like the players really do love playing for him as well. And then you kind of had the total, if we go back to the Belichick, who we mentioned earlier, sounds like he's loosened up more when you look at like the Tom Brady roast and stuff. But if you look at then, he was just very hard-nosed all the time. And what I hear from some of the players that were in that locker room is that Flo tried to take that mentality down to South Beach, and I guess Miami Gardens, my bad, and tried to reenact that. And some players were just not having it. Like how you demand respect and come in here and you haven't had that success like as a head coach. You only had it as a defensive coordinator. But anyways, I mean, just to see where we kind of are, I do feel like Miami needs to embody some of that hard-nosed football in order for us to have that success, because we've been labeled as soft. And I know Zach likes to bring up the fact that we haven't won a playoff game in a century, not a century, what about 25 years?
Yeah.
But I think that's what we need. We need to embody that in order to get there. I mean, we've had fun, but we want success.
Of course.
Definitely.
I think the biggest thing too is like if you really have you ever watched the Hard Knocks? Have you
Of course.
watched those?
Absolutely.
With Dan Campbell, just like and specifically, you noticed that like I remember the one thing he was just like, just trust me, like just buy into what I'm selling,
I
and if you
remember that
buy into what I'm selling, we're gonna win football games.
And it took him 2-3 years.
It did, but they finally bought it, and he finally got the guys to do it. And look at him. I mean, they may have lost, but I mean, it's still
Hey.
that team was
13 wins, dude.
Yeah,
You're
that
taking
team-
that every single year.
that team was so much fun to watch. I'm not even a Lions fan, but I couldn't stop watching their
How many
games.
times did Zach tell us they were going to win the Super Bowl? So I mean, he had bought into them, and you know,
Yeah,
Hey,
and
I had a futures ticket, baby.
I mean, you gotta love football like that, and that's another thing too. Is like I like old school football. I like watching that stuff, and like the teams with the historic like backgrounds and stuff, and like just some of the stuff like you're saying, it's just getting a little too soft, and it's starting to make people not enjoy the sport anymore.
100%.
Let me ask you, Terrill, what was the message to you guys during the tank for Tua season? Like, as everything was imploding, Brian Flores had just got there. What was there a message to the locker room that you guys were going after him, or like, what can you tell us?
Man, as a player, to be honest, man, I hated that whole tank for Tua shit. Like, the fans would have poster of it, tank for Tua, and as a player, it's kind of disrespectful. We not taking for nobody. I don't care who you is. Like as a player, we not worrying about that, bro. We're not worrying about. Actually trying to win games out there. What fans don't know, we trying to win games. Now, what goes on upstairs with the management, that's a whole different thing. I don't know. Maybe they want to tank for Tua. Obviously, they want more picks. You know what I mean? You're not out there putting your life on the line every day. You worrying about draft picks and not worried about the kid that just signed a futures contract that we want to bring back next year. Instead of tanking for a kid that's in college that can put somebody out of a job. You know, that's somebody that's working hard. Players don't want to tank for nobody because that's somebody's job on the line.
Yeah, I mean, as a player, you just show like your emotion, like you don't want to lose, never want to lose. No one ever likes losing, but you also always think about the fact that it's a business.
Yeah, it's a business.
To grow your business, you got to use picks sometimes. So I mean, but you are right. Like those guys who sign those deals who want to play football, you don't care about who's coming in, and I wouldn't either if I play football.
But as a coach, that is tough because some coaches do tank for players and want the number one picks, but at the end of the day, that's a decision between the owner, the GM, and the head coach. That puts those three people in tough positions. And once you build that resume, so-called quote-unquote tanking for a player, you're building that resume and you're becoming that coach that loses games.
Yeah.
That's
You're becoming that coach that loses games. Keep on losing those games where upstairs is smiling in your face and behind your back, that's like, yeah, we're going to get rid of this guy. We're just going to get all these picks, the picks we need.
Along those lines, though, let me ask you a question. So now when you say tanking, now we're not saying that they're telling their players to purposely lose, but in terms of making like a QB change for your second string quarterback, that's where I think it gets weird because it's hard to justify. You don't know if you're playing with all your starters.
Yeah.
You're not trying to lose unless the players are just not playing.
Yeah.
But like the Giants this year, right? I'll give you a good example. They had everyone ready to go. Who do we start? We start Tommy DeVito. I mean, I like the guy. He's cool, but he's not an NFL starting quarterback. But that showed that, they're not trying to win games at that point. So it's along the lines of exactly what you said.
People said a lot of the same things too about the Patriots. And it's just they were like, oh, they were locked in at that one seed, and then they won their last game, and everybody was like, why would you do that? Well, because, as you say, you're there to win football games, not there to get picks.
Regardless of who's in.
Yeah, and then what they do, they fired the coach right after the game, right?
Yeah, I think he knew. He already knew what was up.
I had
him on purpose.
Yeah, that's what it looked
100%.
like. That's what it looked like.
Let's put them back in the draft a couple picks.
Exactly.
That's exactly what that was.
And now who are they projected to get? What are they, 4?
No, I think they're 3.
They're 3?
Yeah,
I think who are they projected to get?
I've been seeing Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
He's gonna drop.
But I don't know. It depends. It depends on if the first 2 picks go quarterback.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it will. I mean, everyone's saying Abdul Carter is going to be the first pick in the draft. I'm seeing Shador Sanders falling all the way to 12, 13.
They didn't like that. He didn't throw, and they didn't like his interviews.
Yeah, I heard that he was very arrogant.
Why is that? I guess, because you play the sport, why are more quarterbacks coming out now? I feel like it started back when Kyler Murray, a lot of these players come out and say, I won't be throwing Caleb Williams, I won't be throwing at the combine. And, what negative effect can that have on that player for them not to want to throw?
Yeah, that can have a lot of – again, it depends on the player. But if you're someone that people are eager to see, team owners, and they want to invest in you, when you talk about number one pick, and it depends on the timeline, the trajectory of your success as a player. Like, if you have 1 year of success and you talking about if you have multiple college years and you're a Heisman player, you could say I don't got to throw at all.
So is that an ego thing, saying you guys know my game, I don't have to prove anything to you, just take a chance on me? Is that what they're trying to say?
It can be, but also it's ambiguous. Some players, it can be an ego thing. Y'all should look at the film. Y'all have, if y'all know what y'all getting, then y'all already, I don't have to throw for y'all. No, some of them want to see how you work under pressure. Some of them want to see in the combine, and it's quiet. You can hear the AC vents, and no, it is that quiet. You can hear all the cameras.
Wow.
It's that quiet. So it's definitely nerve-wracking. Wow. But it puts a lot of guys in pressure, and for his situation, I feel like he felt like he earned not to throw at the combine, and I think they thought differently.
But
Right.
do you think that it can hurt them potentially?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that why they feel like that? Because if they
Yeah.
have one bad throwing day, it can drop them in the draft. Correct.
Oh yeah, because like I said, it's quiet. Imagine being on stage and you're trying to. If you're a comedian, it's quiet. You trying to tell a joke and nobody laughing. You might.
It's like a pin drop.
Yeah, it's like a pin drop, or you looking at the audience and everyone's blinking at you. You know what I'm saying? And
Who's in there? It's just scouts in the combine.
scouts, owners,
That's it.
GMs,
Just personnel.
personnel, everyone's in there. Everyone, and you can see them. Like you can see their face expressions. Yeah.
Did
so-
you watch the combine recently?
I don't watch it no more.
Yeah, I didn't get this chance to watch
I
it
didn't watch
because
it at all.
to be 100% honest, like you know who's going and you know
Yeah.
what everybody's got, and that's the sad part. It's like it used to be fun to watch. Like,
Yeah, it used to
you
be very fun to watch.
It was like something I would always
Yes.
watch, and it's like now I don't really care a whole lot.
No.
to be brutally honest, but I mean, who do you think like coming into the draft, like who do you think deserves that number one pick, and why, and then if, for example, like let's say who you would say doesn't deserve it, who is known or who is a possibility of getting it, like Travis Hunter's possibility, you don't just think he deserves it. I mean,
Yeah.
coming from a college football player.
I think it should go to someone who we least expect, someone who worked hard, someone who participated in the combine, someone who I think what the people want. You got to think as a media perspective, they want to see waterworks. They want to see a surprise for this, pick. Well, for them, it might not be a surprise. It can be down to the line where it could change in the last 10 minutes, where you might end up was about to be the number 3, now you're about to be the number 1. So I think for this year, it should be a surprise to be a player that we're not used to seeing getting taken in the first pick. Because all the couple years we already knew Caleb Williams. We knew during the season he was going to be the number 1 pick.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And now that you got all these players like, nah, I'm not running, I'm not throwing, and still get the luxury to be the number 1 pick, I think you should give it. That should also boost somebody who's at 4, who did it by the book, did everything through to get that number 1 pick.
That's a good take, Terrell. I
mean,
like that a lot. That's a really good
Just
take.
talking about that, I'm not 100% sure if Abdul Carter was in it, but I mean, I watched him in the playoffs, and man, he's
a dog.
That's crazy.
He's
He
a
is a
dog.
good.
What's going on with that stress fracture though?
That's what I was. I know it was
they
his foot.
talking about that. Yeah.
It was his foot, right?
Yeah.
Foot.
But I mean,
heard
talking
they
about combine, you also got to think about like Cam Ward, dog. I mean,
That's my
He
pick.
is a dog.
yeah.
That's my
And
first
who's got
pick.
number 1? The Titans.
Nonchalant quarterback. He's
Yeah.
Bro, he stands in the
the
pocket
Yeah.
like he's not even doing anything.
And like that one
incredible.
game against Florida, the first game, I obviously everybody was watching that. I was just like, dude, he's just like picking him
yeah.
apart. And it
Oh,
was just,
yeah.
it
Keep
was-
in mind, because I got to come in now. We talking about Florida. They didn't play DJ Lagway, Florida. That's a
When did
different
they start
Florida
that
to
game?
I've
was
already forgot his name. Oh my gosh, I think I'm blanking because I'm on this podcast.
It was that bad, huh?
Oh my gosh,
It was
what's wrong with
it was
me?
something with an M.
What's wrong with me?
It was something with an M.
Now I seem like a fake fan.
Wish I had my Florida boys here. They
Oh
call
would.
him
my
Lagway.
gosh.
That boy a dog.
Yeah,
He's gonna
Lagway
be
is-
good,
He's a
too.
freshman.
He
Lagway?
was last year.
He
was a
was.
freshman
He
last year.
gone now though. He gone.
Who?
Lagway.
He's
No,
gone.
No, Lagway's there.
He's still there.
We got Lagway this year. Yeah.
I thought he was leaving at UNLV.
No, Lagway's there. That's our starter quarterback.
Oh snap.
Fact
Oh,
check. Fact check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone-
you gotta
someone-
fact-
I
don't
mean, to be
fact check
fair,
me.
everybody can just enter the portal and just look around and then just, nah, I'm
Yeah,
good. Actually, I'll stay.
ain't Mullen over there at UNLV?
Graham Mertz. That's who.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I thought about it as I clicked search. I remembered. But yeah, Graham Mertz was our starting quarterback against Miami, game 1, and I mean we just got annihilated. I mean Cam Ward came out there, had a field day as you guys saw. But I'm telling you that had he played that DJ Lagway team, I'm not saying that changes our defense, but I think it would have been a dogfight.
Yeah, I mean-
and Florida does play Miami this year at Hard Rock Stadium when they got Carson Beck. I think we're gonna mop the floor. I think Florida's gonna mop the floor.
Carson
with
Beck.
Miami.
What's the line? What's the opening line on that?
I know you should know that. You should have that.
Wait,
baby.
I think
way too
Florida's
early to
gonna
tell.
mop Miami.
Heck yeah.
I
Heck
listen.
yeah.
Miami always has that defense every year. Their defense is usually above average, and they always got somebody. I don't know. I see Carson Beck and like what he did in Georgia, and it just honestly progressively got a little bit worse. And like last year, I know he got injured, but I mean, like coming to Miami
Who
for
knows
your
if he's even
girlfriend,
going to
like,
start?
Yeah,
Is he gonna- he's
yeah.
injured.
I don't know the depth on the Miami
Like,
on Miami right
they
now.
start
injured.
Carson Beck for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
100%.
No, he's definitely going to start. I just don't know
Yeah.
if he's going to be ready for the beginning of the
Yeah,
season.
I mean, but
Definitely
I
gonna
like
start.
Miami. I mean, I went to Florida State, but I like Miami. Like I grew up more of a Miami fan, but
Nah, Miami's beating Florida. I'm sorry to tell you.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
They beating
a
they're
little
they're
bit.
ready.
Slide in your DMs
I mean,
after the game.
I mean, after this past season, like you got a lot of recruits. You have to have
Yeah.
a very solid team.
Both teams do.
But I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys saw Florida's recruiting class. All the 5-star recruits that we got this year, and we had them
course.
flip their commits. I'm
Yeah.
telling
I
you.
did see that.
But
They
yeah,
did do a
telling
good
you.
job
also
in the
gotta
portal.
know.
Florida is.
They did a good job in the portal. I
Hey,
did
That's all-
see
I
that.
won't say anything
but they
else.
also are in the SEC, and the SEC just got even better. And you saw how hard their schedule was last year.
Yeah, and I also saw. I know almost doesn't count, but I also saw the way that we played against Georgia.
Yeah.
DJ Lagway went down, game flip.
Yeah.
We almost beat Tennessee. We went for 2 because you just want to win the game. Lost. There were so many winnable games that we could have won, but our season we turned around. It was just too late.
Yeah, the
you
last
can't.
stretch.
There's only so much room for error in college football. I
Yeah.
mean, you lose 3
They-
games, you don't even make the playoffs.
Well,
sometimes.
now with the new way, you can.
right?
You could. You
Oh,
can
with the 12-team
yeah,
format?
you can lose 2 games. Before, no. you
Ohio
couldn't.
State.
you
you know,
can't.
Ohio State lost 2 games last year, right?
They
Or
lost-
one.
They got
They
waxed
lost
by
to Nebraska,
Michigan.
didn't
Yes, no, they lost to Michigan and they
Last
lost to
year?
Oregon.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was
Michigan and
Yeah,
Oregon,
they
they did
lost
lose.
two.
They lost 2
The
games.
Oregon was when Will Howard just like fell.
No,
with, like,
they won
2
that game
seconds.
33-31 or something like
Which
that.
one?
Oregon.
No,
Yeah.
no.
That
They
was for
played
this
they-
year.
No,
This
I'm talking
past
about
year.
this past year. They
Yeah.
lost. Oregon was their first loss.
Yeah.
They lost to Oregon this year. They did. Fact check. Unless
No, you're right.
No,
You're
yeah,
right.
they
I
did.
just,
they lost to Oregon
didn't-
and they
I
lost
don't-
to
I don't-
Michigan
I
because
don't
they were
remember.
calling for Ryan Day to be fired right after that
Yeah,
game.
I remember when they lost to Michigan. It was 13-10 was the final score or something
Yeah,
like that.
low
It was
scoring game.
Yeah, low scoring game. They fought after too.
They did.
Oh, yeah,
Oh my
the
gosh, that
flag
was a
thing.
brawl.
But that's like every year. They always do that every year. I don't understand why this year was so different. I mean,
Let me ask you a question, Terrell. What would you say, like looking back on your career so far, what's been the most impactful, memorable moment? Whether it was at New Mexico State. Actually, I want to hear both. New Mexico State, but I also want to hear playing in the league.
Oh man, I would have to say in college was 2 reasons. Obviously winning the bowl game and just that play against Jordan Love. I don't know if y'all can show the clip, but
Dude, I want to see the clip.
Just
so
have
bad.
it.
You're gonna add it in.
Yeah.
just
gonna add
have
it in.
it, just that play alone, and all my coaches, they love to tell their story. That play alone, it was 4th down. I think they were in goal. It was they were 4th and goal, and they went quads to the boundary. They went quads to the boundary, and I'm on the far open field side. It's just me. I'm an outside linebacker standing up. And then our safety has the running back man. So he went on that side. We're in man with 0 pressure. And they Jordan Love saw it. He looks at me, and he goes, check, check, check. Hey, he flips the running back to the right side, to the field side. So now it's just me and the running back. And the safety stayed on that side. He's supposed to trade over. So I hear my coaches on the sideline, hey, yo, move over. And I'm looking at the sideline, and I see my coach Sukup. He slammed his headset. They're jumping up and down. And they're like, Jacob, move over. And I look, I said, back trade. And nobody moved over. I move out wide. Next thing you know, he sees it. It's just 2-on-1. Jordan Love said, "Hut." He gets the ball, speed option right at me, and I come off the ball. Instead of running off the ball right away, I split the difference between both of them. And it's 2-on-1, and I just kind of rushed at Jordan Love, and I jumped right through the passing lane and kind of like head faked him like I was going to tackle him. Jumped out right into the passing lane, could have caught the ball on the dead run. Dropped the ball, and I dove on it, grabbed the ball, and it was turnover. And then I just remember him like screaming like, "Damn!"
And that was like the game was on the line. Like
The game we
Oh,
were
that's crazy.
down. Yeah, we were down. And I returned that ball, and that just shifted the whole. Because if they would have punched the ball in, the whole morale of the game would have went down. And once that just changed the whole momentum of the game. And
Was it a one-possession game at the time?
It was 1%. We were down by a touchdown and a field goal.
Okay.
So
all right.
yeah, 2-possession game.
Two-possession game.
Yeah. So once I did that, we drove made
Change the
that
script.
turnover,
Change
changed the
the
whole
script.
script.
exactly.
Changed the
One
whole
play
script
can
of the
change
game.
the whole game. So
Yeah,
I love
one
that.
play. That's all we needed.
And it was
One
my
play.
boy Terrell that made it too. That makes it better.
That was
love
that was one from my college career. That one, and then Another one, this is the only thing I'm gonna say for my college one, is breaking the 0-17 record. We had the longest losing streak in college football history. My freshman year, I had a torn label. My shoulder was coming out of socket the whole game, and I caught. Was in 3 overtimes. We ran through 3 middle linebackers from injuries and getting ejected. So one of our
my God.
freshman linebacker, Javon Ferguson, burnt his red shirt that game and had to lead the entire defense. Mind you, I'm in pain. So he has to do the calls. He wasn't getting the reps with us. So we got a pretty much a practice squad player that burnt his red shirt in the 3rd overtime. We're going through 3 overtimes with this guy, and he's balling. And so the last play of the game, he tips the ball. He goes up for the pick, tips the ball, and I jump up. I jump up with one arm because my shoulder is it's falling out of socket. I jump up. The ball, he tips it downwards. So I'm like, damn, he's about to drop the ball. And I end up catching the ball on the way down with my feet to win the game in overtime against Idaho. Win it, made number 2 top 10 on ESPN.
We got to find these clips.
On Halloween
we got to find
night.
these clips.
That's crazy.
We can find that one too.
Oh, you find that one because
Oh,
that
we gotta
was the
find
best.
these.
That's
A
great.
lot of people don't. I was a freshman, and that was on Halloween night. That was by far my favorite player as a player in my whole entire career. I cried after the game. They dog-piled me. I almost cracked my rib.
That boy will never forget Halloween.
I'll never forget that.
Favorite holiday. Favorite holiday.
Favorite.
Bro, that's
man.
amazing.
I'm
That's
serious.
amazing, dude.
That was a crazy game, and broke the longest college losing streak. Yeah, against Idaho.
So along the same lines, from the research I did, looks like you had an offer from New Mexico State and Appalachian State.
Yeah, I did.
What made you choose New Mexico State over Appalachian State?
Oh man, App State pulled their offer, man. On senior night, I committed to App State my senior year, and I get to school Monday, and my head coach, comes to me. He goes, "Hey, I gotta talk to you." I go, "What's up?" He goes, I ain't gonna say the coach name, but such and such called, and he said that they found someone better, and that they're gonna move on, and yeah. You no longer have an offer from App State. And I was like, what? I was on my way to track practice. I was like, what? I was like, are you sure? Football season just ended. Like, it just ended for us. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, man, I didn't even go to track practice. I dipped. They was like, you know what? I just went home. I just remember that. I was just so pissed off. I just cried the whole way on the train, bro.
Dang.
Cried the whole way on the train, dog.
So early on, you realized that football is a business, college and
it was
professional.
It was a business. Then the reason how New Mexico State came, I actually had an offer to Alcorn State. The head coach who's at South Alabama right now, he's the one that offered me. He found me, and I was gonna go to Alcorn State. The reason how New Mexico State came involved, it was a Coral Gables coach named Coach Cooney. He's also at University of Miami coaching right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I heard that name before.
Yeah, he had an All-Star game, and it was Dave versus Broward. It was Dave versus Broward, and he was the coach. And I wasn't invited to it. He was like, "Hey, I want you to be on our team. You know what I'm saying? I want you to come on, and represent your school." I was like, "All right," because mind you, he been wanting me to transfer, and I didn't have the opportunity to go and leave LaSalle and go play for him. So he brought me on his team, and then, I just started, balling out there. Just start balling with all the other talent. And he was like, man, all these coaches want to know where you are. And at the time, I didn't have my test scores. Probably right the reason App State pulled their offer. They didn't feel like waiting.
Wow.
So he helped me through the process. He created, I didn't have my highlight senior tape yet. He made my senior tape, posted on his Facebook after I balled at the All-Star game. He was getting calls. Everyone's like, yo, what's the catch? What's the catch? Why you don't have no offers? Where you at right now? And then I told New Mexico State called, and I told them my situation. It was like, all right, you know what? What's your counselor number? I gave him my counselor number. He talked with my counselor. He said, yeah, they're going to put you through this program called credit recovery to boost your GPA up, to match your test scores. And then, honestly, we're going to wait on you. We're going to hold your offer. I don't care if it take all summer. I was like, well, are you allowed to do that? But all summer they waited on me.
You could boost your. I know about like credit boosters. You could boost your GPA too.
Yeah, you could boost your. I took credit recovery course. It's called a credit recovery course for all the young athletes that's going through that right now or went through that the way I did. Take credit recovery course. Trust me.
Wow.
Boost your. I pretty much had to take math and English all over again. It was from my freshman year because I went from public school to private. And I went, so I had to do that pretty much my whole freshman year over.
I almost had to boost mine just to graduate. Nah, I'm just kidding.
So that process was lonely for me, and I just had to grind it out. I was by myself, and I just grinded it out, dog. And here's a funny story. They didn't even tell me I passed the clearinghouse, NCAA clearinghouse. I finished the course, and I text coach. I said, hey, coach, I'm done with the course. He said, okay, so what you going to do next? I was like, I don't know. Waiting for y'all. When y'all ready. He said, dude, you got to be here by tomorrow. Camp start in 2 days. And I was like, oh, snap. I was like, but
Where
what
were
about
you at the time? Were you still in Florida?
I was still in Florida at home. I would have to catch the Metro Rail to the library to get on the computer and take all the courses. Yeah, so
It was a long 2 days, huh?
yeah. That was a long 2 days, but I took the entire summer I signed with New Mexico State, but, I signed with them on signing day like everyone else in February, but, everyone was already in school by June. I was at home grinding the courses. Players at school, like all the incoming freshmen, like, yo, when you get here, man, all the coaches keep talking about you. When you get here, they don't even know. Coaches ain't even tell them nothing. It's like, Hank's he's handling some issues at home. Whole time I'm redoing my freshman year. Whole time I'm doing it over. I finished the course, dog. I get there. Mind you, I haven't done through no summer. Probably why my labrum tore. I'm playing the whole season with a torn labrum. I didn't have no summer workout. I got there 2 days before camp, thrown right into the fire.
Dang.
Full
Right
pads? Full
into the
pads.
fire. Full pass. First game was against Florida Gators. Yes, against
Chomp.
Oh man, it was crazy. You guys had y'all had that
What year?
Oh man, 2015, y'all had a corner that was cold. Vernon Hargraves.
I know
Oh
him.
my
He
goodness.
played for the
league.
Oh my
Didn't he
goodness.
play for the Titans in the league?
Hargraves made it
Yes,
to the league.
Vernon Hargraves was
Yeah.
a dog.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it was
Oh
Titans.
man, that's when they called Vernon Hargraves, he's the last one out the tunnel. They had fireworks come out the stadium for this dude. He came out like this with his hands up. He put in a
was a real
circle.
one.
I was like, just tears coming out my eyes. I'm like, wow, I'm really D1. Like, this man, Vernon Hargraves, like, bro, they went crazy for Vernon Hargraves. Y'all had Antonio Callaway.
Of course I know. I told you Callaway.
Y'all had some dogs.
Sorry,
man.
I was way off. Tampa Bay Bucks.
I was
Tampa
gonna
Bay.
say.
Tampa Bay.
You
I
had
didn't
the
think
T
Tennessee,
right.
I
You
didn't
had
think
the T
Tennessee
right.
sounded right.
Yeah, he played Bucks, a little bit of time in Houston, and finished with the Bengals.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had a 5-year career. So
Yeah.
Dog, man. Whatever happened when you get to the league, but his college career, man, I respect it. Man, he was a dog.
That was just cool though. Just that moment that you just talked about, that you were like, it hit you. Like I'm a
went
D1
D1.
athlete. Like
Yes.
the fact that you saw another individual coming out play, like that opened
I
eyes
grew
for
up watching all his 7-on-7 stuff, all his camp stuff on YouTube. Just being a little kid out of South Florida, I was a 2-star, mind you. I had to work my ass off to be a 2-star. I wasn't even good at first. And just to be at that level, like, damn, school, actually, like, God had his hands on me, no doubt. Like, have a school, they don't wait on nobody. To have a school wait for you the entire summer, and I got there 2 days before fall camp, and mind you, in New Mexico, it was a culture shock. That was when
Yeah.
El Chapo was wrecking havoc over there at the border.
Ross is
Wow.
very familiar with
Yeah, New
Mexico.
Mexico is very
He's been there a bunch.
black for. It's just dry. Like there's nothing
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like it has its spots, but like literally, driving around, it's just like empty.
Yeah.
Mountains and really nothing. Like and
How about that tire falling off the car?
and I couldn't even. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't even. I like almost falling off a mountain, but you couldn't even like. It was like for me, like being also a Florida boy. Like my grandmother lives there. I went there, and I was just like.
Yeah.
What is
Where
this
am
place?
I?
I'm like, why do you live here? I'm like, what is this? And she's like, it's so nice. And I'm like, I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, at school, and being a student athlete, you got to go to some weird places. But I mean,
yeah.
was Florida your first game?
Florida Gators in the Swamp was my first
What
game.
did that
Welcome
game
to
end?
crazy.
Yeah, that's a hard first game.
crazy.
What did that end up being, score wise? You remember?
Oh man, I remember it was like 50 something to 17.
Okay.
But look, it was close though. Before half, it was close.
And
pulled away.
even though it was a big gap in the score, like, do you think like that game was that like a okay, like I finally got the nerves out, like type thing? Like you guys may have not scored or won, or you guys scored. Sorry, not scored a lot. 17 points, but like you think your team was just like, all right, we may have lost, but like they're still like you guys are still happy with something like that. I mean, I know.
Yeah, I mean for us, we ain't even been going to the game. Me personally, I didn't think we was gonna get 17 points on the board.
Yeah.
We had a lot of freshmen, y'all are young players starting. And one of the reasons why we got 17 points on the board was I took a risk. I said, man, we playing a team like this. I blitzed. We blitzed 8 people. I wasn't supposed to blitz.
Rushed them up.
I mean,
Got a forced
Cover
fumble.
zero.
Literally cover zero. Like
Every time.
I blitzed on third down, and I wasn't supposed to blitz, and it came out working for our favor. We got a strip sack, goal line, and it led right to a touchdown. And now we down by a touchdown with them boys right before half. And I'm like, oh snap! Hey, let's go!
Yeah.
Yeah. So at a team like that, a small school, you got to take risks. You got to take gamble, and you better hit home.
You said something earlier. You said no school waits on anyone, and that just shows you like God definitely had His hand on you. Like it was meant to be. It was
meant to be.
It was definitely His plan for you to be there. You know, you spoke about that one door closing with Appalachian State, but clearly like that was a part of your path. And I had asked you earlier in regards to impact. What moment in the NFL impacted you the most that you remember?
Oh man,
Special memory.
Yeah, my special memory, and this is one of my greatest memories right now. So it was preseason. It was coming down. We had one more preseason game left, and it was with Brian Flores. And mind you, fast forward, we finished playing the Saints preseason, and the Saints was a tough game for me because they don't know this, but I had messed up my hamstring very bad. Not only that, I was battling injuries with my ankle, the same ankle that I hurt in college. Not to mention, it's on the same leg, so I ended up tweaking my hamstring. Actually, I pulled my hamstring. I finished the entire game. Mind you, I played the entire game. I'm starting on defense at this time and on all special teams. So I hurt it on special teams. Special teams is first off topic, but they got to get back to the old kickoff.
Oh, please.
They got to get back to the old kickoff.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
I've been in the XFL, UFL.
Yeah.
I love that kickoff, but for the National Football League, you got to get back to it.
Yeah, no,
They're talking about starting the ball on the 35-yard line. I mean, if that's not telling you that they're just focused on offense, I don't know what is.
Just
It's
No,
crazy.
man.
Put it on the 20 like it used to be.
Oh man, how are we? Imagine I'm in the UFL. I'm supposed to get a job? How I'm supposed to send these special team coaches my tape
If they don't run back the kick,
They don't run back the kick. No one's doing their job. The special team coaches are now you're taking their job away from them from being able to coach.
Yep.
The ball is these are some talented kickers. They kicking that ball out the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, half these kickers now can kick 50, 55, 50,
Yeah.
60 plus.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. I mean, they might not be able to do it in the game, but they're doing it in practice.
All
Watch
day.
practice. They're kicking from like behind the logo. I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like,
That's
that's
crazy.
50
Got to get
points.
rid of it.
So you were saying it was the Saints game?
Saints game. It was the Saints game. I tweaked my hamstring on kickoff. So not to mention I had to finish the game. And so I'm like, man, it's going to look – I know it's bad. I know if I go out, I'm cut. I got one more game to make the team, and for me, it wasn't enough. So I ain't enough. I ain't making enough plays, man. I can't go to the trainer. He going to call me out, and I'm going to be cut. So at this point, I'm like, man, I got to play through it. So if I open up my stride, I tear it more. So at this point, I'm going through kickoff, and it looks like I'm jogging on tape. It looks bad. And I'm like, damn, I know that shit look bad, but I'm saving myself for defense because I'm like, hey, I got to make some plays. I got to make some plays, and I'm in pain. Like I'm like fighting through it on defense, but I was able to like chase down the plays I had to without like fully tearing it and messing it up. But if I had on all special teams, mind you, punt return, kickoff return, my hamstring was not going to make it through any of those. So I had to finesse in a little way have a little strain where I needed to, but not too much strain where I completely take myself out the game. So we come back to watch tape, and Flo's never usually, well, he is in special teams meeting, but he's in the back. This time he's running special teams meeting. So we're watching the special teams tape on film, and he comes in there and he goes, I got the special team tape to start it off, and I want to start off with this right here. And he has me circled. And I'm like, usually, and if you circled on that in a big room, if you circled in there before meetings, is either good or bad. Only you know that. Me, I knew what time it was when it's special team clip. And I was like, oh man, it's got to be bad. And I saw it on the plane after the game. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get my ass chewed out. The fact that he brought it in front of the big room, I was like, damn, my stomach dropped. I'm like, oh man. He's like, Hanks, where you at? And I'm like, I'm right here. He's like, Hanks, tell me what's different from this play. He showed the clip of me on defense. He shows the clip on me chasing the quarterback out of bounds, like out of the pocket. Like I'm hauling, I'm getting him out. I had a QB pressure. It looked nice on tape. And it was actually Tyson, the quarterback. He was a tight end, and then he went to quarterback.
Oh, Taysom Hill.
Taysom.
Oh
yeah.
my God, that's
His
crazy.
dog. I
Yeah.
chased him out the pocket.
And he's fast as shit.
And he's
He is
fast. I was like,
That dude's fast.
He's still productive now.
Yeah.
whew. And my hamstring, that's when I started to feel it. So I'm like, dang, oh man, he saw that clip. And I haven't seen that clip on tape. And I was like, okay, that looked good. Then he went back, what's different from this play to this play? He clicked to the special team tape. And I'm like, oh, dang, man, this finna be bad. And I look bad on tape. I'm like, I look like, you could tell I'm hurting. You could tell that I look like, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not even trying. And I wasn't even trying to run down there because you could see me, and everyone's straining on kickoff. And I'm just there like, I'm like, oh, man. He's like, so how about this, Hanks? What's the difference between these plays? Huh? I don't know what you think this is. This ain't New Mexico State, but we ain't doing this here. This is the National Football League. How about this? I'm taking you off all the core. You're not on core no more. And you're this week, you better step your game up because you're only on special teams. And he goes, here you go, Danny. He let Danny start the meeting. I'm like, dang.
Danny Crossman?
Danny Crossman. Let's Danny start the meeting. I'm like, man, I'm off core, man. I'm only last preseason game. I ain't on defense. I'm supposed to be playing the whole game. They let everybody play the entire game, last preseason game. For an undrafted kid, I need that. So here's the crazy part. This is how I make the team. We get to the game, it's Jaguars. Mind you, we about to go play the Jaguars, and Jaguars, this is the time I'm coming in the game, and I'm only on special teams. So I'm doing my thing on special teams, trying to make it come down to the fourth quarter. They have Gardner Minshew at quarterback. He's driving the ball down the field. So he's driving the ball down the field, and I can see Coach PG, he's a defensive coordinator right now, and he's like, man, get somebody in there that know the game rush, the rushes. They're messing up the rush blitz. And I get somebody in there that know how to call it. And then my position coach, he's like, I want to put. He's like, where's Hanks? He's like, hey, boss man said we can't he's like, Flo said we can't put Hanks in. He's like, damn. So Gardner's driving the ball down. If he scored, they win the game. So he's driving the ball down. He's like, the kid who we had in was messing up the rush plan. So he's like, man, put Hanks in. And he was like, all right.
Step flow.
He said, put Hanks in. And he goes, Hanks, go in. He goes, do you know the rush plan? I'm like, yes, sir. What's the rush plan? I said, Coach, bandit right, bandit left, rush right. All right, that's good enough. Go get him. So I go in there, I go get him. I go in there, I go do the rush plan. So a couple plays go by. They going down the field. They doing out routes to stop the clock, situational football. So I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. All right, so back away from me this time. I'm rushing. Boom, I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, all right, man, I only been in for 3 snaps. No, I've been in a total 4 snaps. This is the last snap I'm in. So I'm like, man, I got to make a play, man. Bend it right. So I come off the edge. I see the tackle. I'm like, oh, he big. One arm stab off him. Get off of him. I see Gardner Minshew about to roll out. He steps back up into the pocket. So I keep my chest free. I come arm underneath. And as soon as I see him, I get off the block. I grab the ball. All I see is the ball. I put my head towards the ball, and I bring him down like I'm about to sack him. And some told me he just ripped the ball. My hand's on the ball. I ripped the ball out. And it's a forced fumble. I'm going to send y'all the clip. It's a forced fumble on the play. And I look, the ball, I'm like, oh my God, I got the ball out. Oh my God, I got the ball. I try to grab the ball. He jump on my back. Ugh. I'm like, oh, please tell me somebody recovered the ball. We recovered the ball. That was ball game. We were up. That was
That's
ball
crazy,
game.
Terrill. That's
And
awesome.
I get off the field. And he like, Hanks, that's what I'm talking about. That's how you go get the ball. Now, I'm coming off the field, and I see Coach Flo. He looks at me. He gives me this look. He gives me this grin. And he like it's kind of like your dad looking at you like, I thought I told you not to get in the game. but it worked out. But it worked out. So
awesome.
we get the team meeting, and I walk past Coach Flo. He said, hey, come here, Hanks. And he goes, good job, T. Hanks. I go, T. Hanks. He go, I say, you ain't call me Merton. He was like, you deserved it. You earned it. I was like, oh, so now I think I might have made the team, y'all.
Hey.
I made the team for 24 hours. Made the 53 for 24 hours.
What happened then?
Well, Flo told me we was pretty tight. He told me straight up. He was like, hey, and it was that clip. I'm telling you, it was that clip from the Saints where I didn't feel like I wanted the strain to mess up my hamstring even more. And he was like, Danny said he don't feel like he necessarily trusts you on teams yet. So we're gonna bring you back on P Squad. But we're gonna go with somebody else for teams. I was supposed to be the special teams guy. I was starting on all 4 phases. And I was like, all right. I was like, all right, no problem. And honestly, I feel like if I would have said something, it probably would have helped my situation. It probably wasn't, because I've been in a situation 2 weeks prior to that and during camp where my ankle was a balloon, and the trainer looked at me and was like, I was like, do I practice today? He was like, hey man, you gotta go, or you're not gonna have a job. I was like, dang.
Do you think that like you're like how close you were with him, like it might have worked? Like it might have just been able to keep you on for like another few weeks.
With the special teams coach?
Just telling him about your injury. Just be like, I wanted to ball out for you guys on defense and make a game changing play, and I wanted to save myself on special teams, because what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I would probably have done the same thing too. You know, what's more, you know, not saying that's not important, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, in general, you think if you said something to him, it might have for how close you were with him, it might have made a little bit of a difference.
I be wrestling with that thought all the time, but then, you know, I think back to it, I don't think it would have made a difference.
Yeah.
They would have been like, no excuse. And that was one of our mottos, no excuses. So I felt like it would have just been next man up, and it would have been bad. Like, it would have been bad for me no matter what. It was a lose-lose. If I even came up with an excuse or went to them, my hamstring, it was this, it was that, they're not trying to hear that. To be honest with you, they're not trying to hear none of that.
They want you to play through it.
Yeah, availability is availability.
It's the best ability.
It's the best ability.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
availability is the best ability, and like, dude, nah, they weren't trying to hear that. That's why I didn't say anything.
So, Terrill, let me ask you, wrap-up question here. What's the future for Terrell Hanks?
The future for me right now is in God's hand. You know, right now, you know, I'm playing in the UFL right now, and I'm in a process where I'm trying to find my skill set. So I was a inside linebacker at first. I was an inside linebacker, and I grew since the Dolphins. I was only like 225, 230. And now I've grew into my frame where I'm since the Dolphins I grew an inch, or since college, so I got on the Dolphins, I grew an inch, and I grew like 15 pounds in straight muscle. So now I'm like a true outside linebacker. So right now it's like all I need is tape. All I need is tape, and I've been getting calls back from every year. I've been getting calls from teams, even from Flo right now with the Vikings. The Dolphins will call me and be like, hey, you just need tape. And this is the part where I want to just tell you guys where it's hard for players to make that jump. Once you're labeled as a certain guy, like let's say if you're labeled as a special teams guy, you know, that's how you're going to be, another team is going to look at you. If you got just only special team tape, you're just a special teams guy, and they're going to be like, if you give us tape where you could come out on court, if you could come off the edge and get sack the quarterback, get to the ball, get in the backfield, then that's different. We can work with that, and that's what the path I'm on right now. I just need more tape, and if I can just show that I made that transition from inside linebacker from being a Mike to outside linebacker, and I can really like revive my whole career. Like that can be something for me, and that's what I'm planning to do this year. I'm looking into. I've been meeting with Sack Sensei, meeting with a couple pass rush specialists, a lot of good guys, and just working my craft. And if I could have one good season of getting anywhere from 5+ sacks, I could be back in the league.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, we're all rooting for you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Even if it's not on the fence, baby, I'm rooting for
We're
you.
rooting for you no
Yes,
matter where
sir.
you go, man.
1,000%.
No doubt, man.
Thank
I
you so much
appreciate y'all.
for coming, Terrell, for this. This was awesome. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we're out.
Sir.